Serious question. Where do we go from here? What's going on, everybody? Today, as you can see, I'm doing things a little bit differently. I'm going to be talking about one of my favorite shows on TV right now that is very close to coming to a close, Better Call Saul. These are the final 6 episodes, and since I've got a lot of time on my hands, it'd be nice if I could talk about each and every episode leading up to the finale. So, let's talk about each and every week, and you understand. Now, if you're here and you haven't seen any of the recent episodes of Better Call Saul this season, full spoilers ahead, so let's dive into it. This episode's name is Point and Shoot, and now we kind of know why. I don't think any of us was expecting right out of the gate, not right out of the gate, but by the end of this episode that Lalo would be just straight up killed, and it happened. There's obviously a whole lot more to unpack here before we get to this point, so let's just start off with the beginning of the episode. Following the fallout of the episode plan and execution, right before we went on this 6-week hiatus, Kim and Jimmy's plan was coming to a head. This meeting was planned, and yeah, it pretty much succeeded. They basically tore apart Howard, and it made him look like he was a drug addict. And then to add salt to the wound, the moment he comes to confront Jim and Kimmy about it, boom, Lalo comes in. Somebody from a completely different universe, almost exactly, because it has more to do kind of with Breaking Bad, but basically, whole other universe, blap, is on the ground and dead. And it was a shock to us all, because that was like the most what could happen next moment that we kind of could have predicted, but probably not in that exact moment. So we open up on the scene, and Kim and Jimmy are just shaken up. They're freaking out as Howard's dead corpse is just losing blood out of his head. He's clearly just gone at this point because it was right through the brain. Blood on the wall. Lo is doing his best to be like, guys, come on. Like, you act like you've never seen a dead body before. Duh. But anyways, after getting them to slightly calm down, even though they clearly don't, he's like, hey, okay, Saul, I need you to go and kill this guy. And he lays out what he's supposed to look like and where he's supposed to live at, and if you pay attention to the details, you're like, oh, obviously Gus Fring, because everything that he just said adds up. Almost in, like, a dickish way. He's like, no, Kim should go do it. And I thought at first it was like a weirdly out-of-place, selfish move for him to want to make her go do it. But to be fair, he did bring in some logical points. But then Lalo follows it and sends Kim, and he ties Jimmy up, and he doesn't actually even question him or anything. Yeah, doesn't really question him. Just ties him up, turns the volume up, and leaves. And Jimmy tries to escape, and it doesn't go well, and he has to look Howard's dead corpse with his eyes still open, just dead on in the eyes. Literally dead on in the eyes, as blood is just slowly coming towards him. How poetic. Kim gets to the address and is just straight up gonna do it, and Mike comes in with the goons and is like, whoa, what? Explain what you're doing here, what's going on, what's happening? This causes everybody to get caught up, they split up, a couple guys stay with Gus, a couple guys go with Mike, and of course Lalo knows that people are gonna be coming for him because he's not dumb. He leaves and heads to the laundry factory. Don't know why I wanted to wait so long to say it like that. Gus goes to check out the factory with the boys, and the other boys go and get Saul. Saul is good. It's weird how much I just want to, like, 1 minute he's Jimmy, and then 1 minute it's like, oh no, he's Saul, but you get what I'm saying. Anyways, while at the factory, Gus's men get ambushed, and he gets kind of captured by Lalo, and it's like, oh. Well, I mean, I know you're going to live in Breaking Bad, but how are you going to get out of this one? You know, it's like the obvious question. As soon as he's like, hey, look, a big machine, let's go down here and let me document it, I'm like, oh yeah, remember that time that Gus, like, stuck the gun inside of the tractor? That definitely won't come back into play at all. It came back into play. Not a bad thing, I'm pointing it out. But yeah, what happens next happens next. But yeah, basically he takes him down there, he gets to tell him off to his face what he thinks about him and his family, which is nice. It's like he gets his own little nacho moment, which is great. By the way, Michael Mando, one of the greatest parts of this show, R.I.P., still missing you from episode 3. Damn, what a way to go out. You would have loved to have seen this. But yeah, basically kicks the thing, causing the light to go out, and we get that awesome moment where the only light in the dark is the and, you know, he basically finds the gun and just does exactly... It's ironic because earlier in the episode, he basically told Kim, hey, you gotta, like, keep firing until there's no more in the chamber, because it's a revolver, and here Gus goes. I can't remember if it's a revolver. I think it was, if not, whatever, but basically does the same thing, just fires all the bullets until there's no more, and he's on the ground and bleeding out. And as he's going out, he just laughs, because, yeah, that's a Lalo thing to do. I wouldn't expect Lalo to want to go out like a bitch. I think that he'd just have a joke about it and be like, well, shit, this happened. But yeah, since basically Tony Dalton is checked out of the show at this point, because, you know, resurrections don't happen in these kind of shows, damn, I don't know how I feel about this, to tell you the truth. I genuinely don't. I don't think it's a terrible episode or anything. I don't even think this is a bad episode. I think it's generally great, and the stakes were at an all-time high. I think a lot of the execution and the directing here by Ben Gilligan is just fantastic. It really caught me off guard. It wasn't at all what I was expecting, which is nice, because if I got what I expected, then how satisfying would it always be? Sometimes you can really actually work with that, but sometimes you shouldn't always get what you think should happen. And then later in the episode, you realize that the opening scene is what happens after, obviously, because Mike is like, hey, taking the car out, it's going to look like he kind of killed himself. You know, they're never going to find the body. It basically just lays that whole plan out for them. And it's kind of, you know, very mirroring the scene when Jane overdosed in Breaking Bad, and he's telling Jesse, you woke up, you found her, that's all you know, basically. And then, as like a final moment of the episode, to see Lalo and Howard sharing the same grave underneath this lab is just, yeah, wow, damn. Another thing you just would never predicted. And I bring this up because I did like a Breaking Bad rewatch before this season of Better Call Saul started back in April, and it's kind of funny, at least to my knowledge, there's no mention of finding any bodies underneath the lab when it's burned down, whenever the DEA gets their hands on it. I'm not calling it a retcon. There is a very good chance that they just didn't care to look for bodies, but I feel like that would have come up, you know, with modern technology. Probably have ways to look into the ground to see if there's anything else worth salvaging, so just slightly a retcon, but yeah. And then we get a little stinger at the end of this episode that teases next week's episode, which we can't guarantee that's when we'll get the famous We the People Constitution set, but it was a nice little nod for what's to come. And that line of, you know, one day we'll just be brushing our teeth and we'll realize that we didn't even think about it. And if anyone has ever lost a family member or anyone close to them, kind of like how grief works, just in general, you know, you don't even realize that you missed the person until you realize that it's been a while since you even thought about them. Or the moment that anything could have happened, you know? So overall, I do think this was a really great episode. I was tense on the edge of my seat the entire time. I love that this episode had a generally fast pace compared to a lot of the other episodes this season, which was nice. I mean, I don't mind at all a slow burn, because that's actually what I really love about Better Call Saul, is that it rewards you for taking its time. And as we're entering these final five episodes, it really feels like we're getting to this huge payoff. And I'm just hoping that it's worth it, which brings me with a lot of questions. What will happen to Kim? Shout out to Lyle. I thought he was going to bite it this episode. I thought they was going to be at the office, like, stitching Gus up, and then somebody was like, well, he's seen too much. I thought that was going to happen. So, hey, good on Lyle for sticking around at least potentially for 5 more episodes. So, yeah, there's a lot that we know, and a lot that we don't know how we get to what we know. And I'm just excited to see my gaps filled with Saul, you know? I wanted to make a small joke there, something like an innuendo, but it just got weird. Anyways, I hope you liked the episode, I hope you liked the video, and cared to talk about the discussion, because down below, you can, tell me what you thought. I'd love to know what you in particular thought. If you think that I'm wrong about anything, if there's anything that I didn't point out, I always love hearing, so thanks. See you guys in the next one. Amen out.